The Yankees win in Houston, and I answer your questions for Fanmail Friday.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. On today's show, we will be doing Fanmail Friday. That's our thing. I answer your questions. You ask me questions. It's a weekly thing. It's very fun. I'll be recapping Thursday's game against Houston, previewing the rest of the weekend against Houston. So it's a jam-packed show on this lovely Friday. It actually is a lovely Friday from what I can see out my windows. So let's start things off with a question from one of our insiders. By the way, if you join our Insiders Club, you get Fanmail Friday priority. Aren't you lucky? So this is from Casey. Question for Fanmail Friday. If you had to make your ideal opening day lineup using Yankees in your lifetime, how would you have it set, as well as pitchers you would have on the roster? This is hard. This is really, really tough because my lifetime is 1974 to 19. Oh no, we're in 2024. 1974 to 2024. And that's a lot of good players. A lot of good players on teams that weren't that great. A lot of good players on teams that were great. Obviously, this cuts out the old guys from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. So that makes it a little easier for me. But this is really hard because I sometimes tend to go with my heart ahead of my brain sometimes. Like Don Mattingly would be my first baseman. No matter what, I don't care. It'll always be Don Mattingly. And then as you get to the rest of the infield, it's more recent guys. Jeter at short. I mean, come on. A-Rod at third. I would probably put Cano at second. But the outfield, I feel like that would be really tough for me because there have been so many good players in the outfield. Like, how do you not put Aaron Judge? How do you not put Bernie Williams? There's also Dave Winfield, and then there are other people like Ricky Henderson. And that's really tough for me. Pitching wise, I probably would try and put most of the guys from the dynasty in there. So Pettit, Mo, like Mike Stanton, Jeff Nelson, Ramiro Mendoza, like those guys. But then you also think about the 09 team. That was a good bullpen as well. CC, how do you not have CC there? So I might have to actually come back to this and really, really think about it and narrow everyone down because that's hard. Try and do that in the comments. Might be easier for some of you, but that's a hard one for me. But thank you for the question. I appreciate it. This next one's coming from another insider, Jack, who asks, who is your dream opening day celebrity first pitch? Mine is 50 Cent, personally. Is he, after how he threw that first pitch? Because that was a nightmare. Unless you just want to do it for the laughs, then maybe. I've mentioned this a few times on the show, but my favorite band of all time is Duran Duran. I love Simon Le Bon, the lead singer, and he threw out the first pitch at a Cubs game 16 years ago, and he bounced it, but he's English and watches cricket. So it was a perfect cricket pitch, but not a baseball pitch. But what I found interesting about it was, he threw out the first pitch and then he also sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" because it was a Cubs game and that's what they do. But Simon didn't really know that song. So he researched it and looked it up and memorized all the lyrics and even the lyrics that we don't sing, because there's a whole bunch of lyrics there from 1908. And he told the guys in the booth about the history of the song and some things that they didn't know, which I thought was really funny. But I would love for him to throw out the first pitch at a Yankee game. You can find that stuff on YouTube. That's how I found it. And I don't think I found it in 08. I think I found it a couple years later. I didn't even realize he threw out the first pitch at the Cubs game. But thank you for that question, Jack. Again, 50 Cent. That first pitch was bad. Speaking of bad first pitches, apparently Chris Rock threw a first pitch that was so bad they scrubbed it off the internet. You can't find it anywhere. He must have really good PR people. Okay. The next question from Danny, another insider. Good morning, Stace. My question this week is if you are going to make any bold or any predictions for this coming season, and since you are the queen of bold takes, how about a couple of them for this season too? Okay. I don't know if I'm the queen of bold takes. It took me a while to get bold with my predictions and stuff. Steve used to tease me about that. And then toward the end of last season, I got a lot better at it. Okay. I'm still stuck on Stanton having a much better 2024 than 2023. I'm not going to be so bold to say he's going to hit 50 home runs because that's not going to happen. But I feel like he's going to do a lot better than he did in 2023. I feel like Rodon's also going to rebound really nicely. What did I predict? Did I say 17 wins for him? I predicted something like that. So I'll stick with that. I'll say he's going to get 17 wins. And then here's my boldest prediction. Soto's going to resign here as a free agent. He'll go to free agency and the Yankees are just going to back up the Brinks truck because they're going to realize that they need someone like him on the team. So hopefully that prediction will come true. And while I still have you here, let me go back to the first pitches. So I said Chris Rock has been scrubbed off the internet. Can't find it anywhere. Carly Rae Jepsen threw out a first pitch for the Rays. Awful, like bowling. I think Mariah Carey did one in Japan that was really terrible. Then you have like a few people who threw out first pitches that are really good. I still think that the pitch that George W. Bush threw out during the 01 World Series was a pretty good first pitch. But would you want to throw out the first pitch? There's a question for you guys. I wouldn't. I would probably bowl it or throw it. I would probably pull a Baba Booey. And if you don't know what that is, Howard Stern's producer, Gary Delabate, infamously threw a really terrible first pitch. That was 15 years ago. That was the first year that Citi Field was open. He's a big Met fan. And he threw it to if you're facing home plate, he threw it all the way to the left. I think it hit an ump who was standing away from, it went nowhere near the catcher. I feel like I would pull a Baba Booey. So I would know enough not to ever accept a first pitch invitation from anyone. No thanks. But let me know if you guys would do it. I wouldn't do it. Don't forget to reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday through Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fanmail Friday, or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. You'll get texts from me when something important happens. You can text me questions, and there's a 14-day free trial, and it's a lot of fun. So again, coming up next, answering more of your questions. Say goodbye to busted brackets because FanDuel lets you bet on every game of the tournament. Whether you're betting on a big upset or a one seed, it's time to go dancing on America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 to use on point spreads, money lines, and you can even pick who's going to win it all. You can bet on the men's tournament and the women's tournament. On the men's side, Connecticut is leading the pack at plus 120 to win it all, with Houston, Purdue, Tennessee, and Illinois rounding out the top 5. And on the ladies' side, Caitlin Clarke and the Iowa Hawkeyes are favored by 6.5 over the Colorado Buffaloes. That's Saturday. You can look for that wager under the Caitlin Clarke header. That's right. Caitlin Clarke is so good, she has her own header on FanDuel. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and bet on college hoops until they cut down the nets. Welcome back. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? You have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news. Streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon TV Channels app. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Here we go. More questions. These are from our YouTubers. Again, Monday through Thursday, under the pinned comment, you can leave your questions for Fanmail Friday. And I forgot to put a pinned comment under Tuesday's video, so I apologize. I have a to-do list, and I don't know how I missed some of these things, but I do. So this first question is from Mike Lino 6916. First of all, great to see you, Stacey. It's been a while for me. Sad to see Steve go, but really glad you're still here. Thank you. And I was sad to see Steve go, but awesome opportunity for him, and he's doing really well in Missouri. My question is, can you see Brad Ausmus take over midseason if the Yankees are in parentheses, really hoping not obviously bad shape? Yes, but I don't think they're going to be in really bad shape. I really don't. I think they're going to do better than people assume. But I also feel like the Ausmus move is a sign that if they do badly, that he could replace Boone. He's been a manager. So, that was an interesting move to me and kind of shocking. But it feels like that was put in place for that reason. But again, I feel like that I don't think the team's going to be that bad this year. I feel like they'll be okay. But thank you for your question. And thank you for coming back. We appreciate it. The next question is from NYY Hulkamaniacs. Do you think the Yankees should trade for a better third baseman? And should the Yankees be worried about Cole and might need surgery and should try to get another pitcher? Do you think they will be good? Are you worried about the Yankees? Are you worried about the Yankees might have a lot of injuries this year? Okay. No. No to the first question. I don't think they should trade for a better third baseman. They got Birdie. He's fine. Oswaldo can play there. It's fine. I'm not worried about Cole. The news came out yesterday. They were saying that his elbow doesn't hurt him anymore, so that's good. Seems like rest is helping, and I don't think he needs surgery. They said he didn't need surgery. He went to the best doctor in the business for elbows, and if he's saying that Cole doesn't need surgery, he doesn't need surgery. Am I worried they're going to have a lot? Yeah, well, I'm always worried every year that they're going to have a lot of injuries because they always inevitably have a lot of injuries. But I feel like the lineup is built better to withstand losing one or two people in it, depending on who it is. We'll see. But am I worried? Yes, I'm always worried about the Yankees having too many injuries. Aren't we all? Because it feels like every year, yes, that's what happens. But thank you for the questions. Next up, Robbie Garns, 7732. Hey, Stacey, loving the energy. Thank you. My question is about our pal, Anthony Volpe. Many of us pegged him to be a leadoff hitter given his speed and stellar base running acumen. Nice word there. However, last year, his batting average, walk rate, and on-base percentage did not warrant him being placed in that spot. Furthermore, he seemed to hit better from 7 to 9. However, this year, we're all hoping for a new improved Volpe. My question, finally, LOL, is what statistical milestones would you have to see from Volpe before you'd be comfortable hitting him leadoff on a regular basis? Thanks and enjoy your week. I already want him to bat leadoff. I don't need to see any numbers. I don't need to see any statistics. I just have this feeling in my gut that he's going to be a really good leadoff hitter. But I also feel like that he could be one of those guys that you can put anywhere in the lineup, kind of as a spark plug sort of a thing. But leadoff is my number one spot for him. I really, really feel like he should be leading off for the Yankees. And yesterday kind of showed why, with his 3 walks. But we'll see. The good thing about the Yankees right now is that they have options. They have a few guys who can hit leadoff and do well in the position. You know, we always get worried about Boone being married to a specific lineup and to placing certain guys in certain spots all the time and not, really changing from that. But there are a few guys who can bat leadoff for the Yankees, and I think the variety there is good for the team, and hopefully Boone will work with that. But I think you might see Volpe leading off sooner rather than later. We'll see how it goes for him. But thank you for the question. Francisco Bastidas, 7693. More than a question, it's a suggestion. Those international series that you're talking about could well be done as the last series before the All-Star break and could involve 6 teams to play regular 3-game series in Japan, South Korea, and Mexico. What do you think about it? Yeah, when I was trying to come up with places for them to play in the middle of the season and kind of went back on my suggestion for Japan and South Korea just because of the travel time, but it could actually work well if it's the last series done before the All-Star break. Maybe, depending, because if any of the teams have guys on the All-Star team and they have to fly all the way back from those places, that could be rough on them. But yeah, that could work. And I feel like Mexico could actually work mid-season as well. I was joking about the hot thing. There are a lot of places that are hot that people play in. I mean, a lot of those places have roofs now, but is it roofs or roofs? How do you say that? What's the plural? I've never had to pluralize that word, I don't think. Huh. Anyway, that could work as a pre-All-Star break series. I was going to say it could work as a coming out of the All-Star break series as well. Maybe Mexico, because the traveling is not as much as Japan and South Korea. We'll see. What do you guys think about that? Would you like to see more of those series in season, or do you like them at the beginning of the season where it's almost like a separate thing? Although I don't really like the fact that the Dodgers and the Padres had 2 games a week ahead of everyone else. Like, if they're going to do that, they should have them in Japan or Korea or wherever they are at the same time as everyone else and not have, I don't know. That's kind of strange to me. But let me know what you think down below. Coming up next, we're going to recap the opening day victory against Houston and preview the rest of the weekend against Houston because MLB schedule makers decided, yes, 4 games, Yankees, Astros to start off the season. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV channels app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Okay, Yankees beat Houston. Woohoo! They still have 3 more games to go in Houston, but it's nice to get the opening day victory, especially with the way they got it, being down 4-0 and ending up winning 5-4. So that was a nice comeback for the Yankees. It was a nice comeback for Nestor Cortez, who looked like a mess the first 2 innings. He allowed 6 of his first 9 batters to reach and gave up those 4 runs, and then looked like a completely different pitcher and retired the last or 12 of the last 13 batters that he faced. So I don't know if he had some sort of opening day jitters and nerves, something like that. I mean, some of the pitches he threw, though, in those first couple of innings were horribly bad and out of control. So maybe there was a little something going on, like some sort of mind game happening, and he had to battle it, and he battled back nicely. Juan Soto and Alex Verdugo both contributed big to the win in their first games as Yankees. Nice job, especially Soto with that outfield assist, and also Verdugo with that nice catch in left field. Oswaldo Cabrera getting 2 hits and the game-tying home run. Good for him because, people were questioning whether or not he should play third base instead of DJ LeMahieu. He showed why he should. Anthony Volpe walking 3 times and showing incredible patience at the plate. It was a good day all around for the Yankees. So the rest of the weekend, this is how it looks. On Friday, otherwise known as tonight, Carlos Rodon is looking to keep the momentum going for the Yankees against Christian Javier, how do we say it? Javier. Rodon has a home run problem against Houston. Not shocking. Altuve, Abreu, Alvarez, and Jake Myers have all gone deep off him. On the other side of that, Judge is 0 for 10 against Javier. And Soto has 1 hit and only 2 at-bats off him. So the game tonight, Friday, is on Apple TV+. So if you don't have Apple TV+, I don't know what that means for everyone. I have it, so I can watch it. I have it on my computer, and I have it on the TV. I have everything that I can watch baseball on, thankfully. Saturday and Sunday's games. Okay, Saturday is a Fox game, and it is Marcus Stroman against Hunter Brown. Stroman has faced Jose Abreu the most, 28 at-bats, and Abreu is batting .214 with 1 home run in those 28 at-bats. Altuve has 12 at-bats off Stroman. He has 1 home run. And this is interesting. Alex Bregman is 0 for 11 lifetime against Marcus Stroman. The Yankees haven't faced Hunter Brown that much. Judge has 1 home run in 2 at-bats against him. But overall, I think they've only faced him 1 time, 1 game. And so they all have 2 or 3 at-bats against him. And then Sunday afternoon on, Clarke Schmidt against our favorite pitcher, TBD. Right now, on Friday at 11:36 a.m., there's no starter listed for Houston. Schmidt hasn't faced the Astros a lot. He pitched against them on August 3rd of last year. He didn't get the decision in the game, but the Yankees won 4-3. He gave up 2 runs in 4 innings. So kind of like Hunter Brown against the Yankees, Schmidt only has 2 to 3 at-bats against some of the guys on the team. So it's not really a big sample size. So we'll see how the Yankees do. I am most interested in how Rodon does in Houston with his home run problem. I said it on the live stream on Thursday night that I think the Yankees winning opening day helps Rodon. He'll still feel pressure because he's always going to feel pressure because of the contract he signed and because of how badly he did in 2023. But I think coming into the game with the Yankees up, or with the Yankees record being 1-0 as opposed to 0-1, it should be a little easier for him. And of course, if he does end up having a bad start and the Yankees end up losing the game, it's not as disastrous because 1-1 is not as bad as 0-2. So I will be watching Carlos Rodon like a hawk on Friday night, and I'm assuming everyone else will. Like I said in the first segment, my bold prediction is that he wins 17 games. I would like for the first victory to be Friday night against the Houston Astros, but we shall see how that works out for him. I'm also interested to see how Stroman does on Saturday. I think he'll be fine. And second-year Clarke Schmidt has some interesting pitches working for him. And all these guys have Garrett Cole at their disposal as the secondary pitching coach in the dugout. So I'm looking forward to this now that they got the first win out of the way. I don't feel as, I wouldn't say I was feeling dread going into the series. I just wasn't looking forward to a 4-game series against Houston to start the season. Now, of course, we could come back on Monday and be talking about the Yankees losing 3 in a row to Houston, but I don't think that's going to happen. But don't hold that to me, or don't hold that against me if it works out in a different way than I'm predicting. But I really don't think they're going to do that badly this weekend. I feel like they can do well against Houston. Split. I'll predict a split. That's not really bold, though. Fine. 3 out of 4. They're winning 3 out of 4. There's my bold prediction. So coming up next week, recapping this series in Houston, we'll be previewing the series in Arizona because they're playing 3 games there, and then the home opener next week against the Blue Jays. Baseball's back. The regular season is here. It's all very exciting. And as always, leave your questions underneath the pinned comment Monday through Thursday on our videos on YouTube, or join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. There's a link in the description. It's a 14-day free trial. It's a lot of fun, and you get priority on Fanmail Friday. So that's going to do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you on Monday.